The Supreme Court just made it easier for the government to deport migrants to countries that aren't their own, even if they say they could be tortured there. Let me explain. On Monday, June 23rd, the Supreme Court paused a lower court ruling that had required the government to give migrants a chance to explain why they shouldn't be deported to a third country, especially one where they might be at risk of harm. This ruling could affect thousands of migrants, lifting protections for people who had previously been granted temporary protected status or humanitarian parole. In May, 8 men caught national attention when they were put on a plane to be deported, reportedly heading for South Sudan, despite the fact that most of them had never been there, did not have citizenship there, and had no connections to the country. A judge ordered that the deported migrants were entitled to due process, giving them an opportunity to argue that deportation to a third country where they do not hold citizenship and may have no connection could put them at risk of harm. As a result, the flight landed instead at an American military base in Djibouti, and the men have been there since. All 8 of the men being deported have been convicted of violent crimes, the New York Times reported. To comply with the judge's orders, D. John Sauer, the Solicitor General, told justices on June 5th that ICE officers had been forced to establish a makeshift detention facility for dangerous criminals at the military base. With the new ruling from the Supreme Court, protections for people who had previously been granted temporary protected status or humanitarian parole have been lifted, allowing the government to resume deportations to third countries without giving migrants a chance to challenge them first. It is important to note that this decision does not apply to the 8 men currently in Djibouti. They are still protected, for now, by a separate court order that remains in place. So what happens next? The Supreme Court ruling is temporary, pausing the lower court's decision while the government appeals it. But for now, the government has the green light to deport many migrants to third countries without giving them a chance to object. What do you think of the Supreme Court's decision? Let us know in the comments.